Hi, this is Kayla Danford, and welcome to my demonstration of my Poplet and being a vocal instructor. Vocal, of course, is an acronym that talks about the principles of effective teaching, especially when it comes to online instruction. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started here. The first part, obviously, the V in vocal, stands for be visible. One of the main objectives is that you want to be a presence and make sure that you're available for your students, especially in an online format. I had a few strategies of how I would accomplish this in my course. We learned some very interesting technologies to be able to reach this goal. Obviously, I had experience before in other work with using icebreakers, and that's a great way to put that into your NECA course format and to get to know a little bit more about your learners and really start to build that rapport and community building. I also, throughout the instruction during the semester, would be using a YouTube webcam. I like how Janet had mentioned the possibility of having that as an introduction for each week and different lessons or modules. I think that's a great idea, but I also see myself using that as well for lectures and instruction. I had used them before in my class, but definitely continuing on with the online learning forums is a great way to get to students to discuss the materials and also get a little bit more critical thinking involved. In the beginning of the course, we did do a little bit of experience with Animoto videos. I personally used Google Doc for my teaching philosophy, but Animoto definitely sounds like something I would be interested in the future to help build that rapport and get the students to know a little bit about myself. One thing also with frequent communication would be the use of WebEx web conferences. This online training was actually my first opportunity to get involved and to use that, but I definitely see it as a great way to move forward with instruction as opposed to where before I had students call me by telephone. So it's definitely a new technology I'm excited about. The next acronym is going to be the O letter, which is be organized. Obviously, that's going to be critical for the success of the course and for the students as well. As I mentioned with WebEx, I would use that for frequent check-in opportunities for the students and to let them know that that's available also for private conversation if they have any questions or concerns. My main focus is wanting to make sure that I'm organized so that the students know where and how to access materials. Also that they're aware of the instructions for their assignments and how they're going to be assessed. And also, very important for the university, just making sure they're aware of not only my policies and procedures for the course, but also for the university. One way I plan to tackle those three components is definitely to use screencasts at the beginning of my course, and especially throughout, to navigate course instruction and also just to demonstrate how to use NECA effectively. I'm going to go ahead and move down a little further here. The C in B vocal stands for be compassionate. Obviously want to be there as an instructor for the students, but also want to be there as somebody who they feel safe and comfortable in the learning environment of being able to come to address their concerns and help them along in the process. One of the big things that I have learned about is definitely ways to make sure that the instruction is inclusive for all learners in the classroom. There were some wonderful technologies that we learned about, such as how to close caption audio if you don't have it already, or knowing how to do that through your YouTube webcams. I definitely plan to take advantage of that. Also, the idea of setting up alternate text for visually impaired students. That was a new experience for me, but definitely one that I'm excited to explore a little bit further. But also tagged PDF documents. I had used handouts before in class and had some attached in my previous courses, but unfortunately I was never really aware of how to make sure that something was a tagged PDF or how to do so myself. So that was also a very handy piece of information to have, and one that I will definitely be implementing. So we are going to be moving on here to be analytical. Obviously, this is going to be very important in helping students to learn to think critically, but also in a way of making sure that we are assessing their learning and checking in. Some of the ways that I plan on doing that, obviously, is I want to make sure that my assessment techniques in the course are going to be as diverse as possible. I would like to use a variety of methods, such as critique opportunities, giving them the chance to do demonstrations or presentations, but also using our tests and assessment. I feel that if we use that variety, we'll get a chance to showcase the learning of each student in a way that's most comfortable for them, and also the most salient way to make sure that all of our students can succeed. Obviously, I'm going to want to make sure that I'm providing constructive and frequent feedback for the students to make sure that they are going along in the process, checking for understanding, making sure that they get everything they need to be successful in the course. One of the ways that I would be doing that, actually, is I would like to include some student blog entries as a journal process for ongoing understanding and assessment. That way I can see what the students are up to and also what their thought process is going along in ways that I can address that. Real-time feedback also with assignments or other presentations or demonstrations. I definitely enjoyed the use of being able to do screencasts like I'm doing right now. I think that's something that I will definitely plug in, and I'm really excited to implement in my own instruction. But bottom line, I don't agree that assessment should be something that's just on the hands of the instructor. One thing that I would like to do is to provide opportunities to foster self-assessment in my students. So I would like to check in with them pretty frequently and give them the opportunity to say what they're feeling comfortable with in the class and what they would like to focus in on. That way it gives them a chance to think about how they're learning, what they're learning, and what ways we can improve to make the course more successful. And then finally, the L in vocal instructor is going to stand for be a leader by example. I did this mainly. I found one video where I'd watched this before. It's called Leadership Lessons from the Dancing Guy. It's humorous, but I also like the concepts that we've talked about in leading by example and exactly what that can mean, and being able to create that movement of learning in the classroom. So I'll go ahead and put that on so that we can watch it.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen, start to finish, in under 3 minutes, and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore. It's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out, you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is over-glorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
Thank you very much for viewing my presentation of my Padlet on being a vocal instructor. I look forward to posting these more in the future, and I will see you soon.